Hello, everybody. Mackie is here. It is 9:15 a.m. on this October 3rd, 2025, as we are about to descend on the road to worlds. Descend? I think descend is not right. We are on to the road to worlds. Thank you very much. Now, now this is the EMEA Masters Summer main event stand-ins. Why do I have to mention this? I don't know. I just have a little hunch. Big Game is in. Vitality B is in. You got Geek A, Gentlemates, Giant X Pride, Misa Esports, Rhodes, Senators, Barca Esports, Galleons, Carmen Corp Blue, Los Heretics. You got Zero Tenacity, Esuber, Forsaken, Unicorns of Love, Sexy Edition, Colossal, and Game Space. Now you're thinking to yourself, Akeem, why does it matter? I don't watch like tier 2 League of Legends or any kind of space. I'm preparing for Worlds, of course. And you are right. But, but, this involves Lost Rataones. Yeah, I know. I know it's these rats again. It's those damn rats again. We're trying to feed off all these kind of stuff and trying to make it bigger than themselves. And they are gonna make it bigger than themselves. Because a couple of hours ago, or a day ago, Riot Games decided to launch its brand new 2026 winter format with 10 LEC teams as usual. Those lost Rataones, and this year's EMEA Masters Summer Champion. My goodness of gracious, this is a big deal. And I'm going to read it all. Actually, I'm going to click on this and then just read it all. Thank you very much. Now, there is no doubt there is some changes needed in the LECs in the LEC in the LEC season, especially with the whole summer format being absolute hot garbage, to be honest. So, you know about LEC and all kinds of stuff. They are reactive to all the changes. And they are making a huge deal that is beneficial to the tier 2 scene and to some of the teams. Okay, let's be honest, lost by the Tonans and most fans, but pissed off a lot of people. So I'm going to read and then go with the reaction, of course. Now, they are saying instead of a winter split, a brand new competition featuring 12 teams will be introduced. It is a new kickoff tournament will include all 10 LEC teams, as well as the two squads of the ERL's Go ecosystem, the best performing team across the year, the EMEA Masters, and the upcoming EMEA Masters Summer Champion. Lost by the Tonans have already established themselves, becoming the most dominant team, winning 3 NLC titles and 2 EMEA Masters in winter and spring, and already secured an invitation to the tournament. So, you know what? No surprise there. And Lost by the Toners should win the summer split, which I think they're the favorites, but you never know. That slot would be rewarded to the opponent of the final. So if you finish second place in the EMEA tournament, if Lost by the Toners wins, you're good. You are absolutely good. So this is, of course, what's going on. Now, the winner of the kickoff tournament will qualify for the first stand. Yes, the winner of this tournament will be at first stand. Do you know what this means? That means that Cadril and Los Antones could, and I said the word could in the emphasis, of course, could qualify to an international tournament. I'm pausing because this is a really big deal, not only for him, for the team, for the brand, but also for, Riot as well. They are taking a huge gamble of trying to make, the best off of a really not good situation. Consider that, I think we mentioned this before, the whole tier 2 scene is not getting the much love, of course. Well, by the way, let's put in the EMEA Masters finals at the same time at Worlds. That's a great idea. Great decision, I guess. So, to have this entire tournament that includes some of the tier 2's teams, it's huge. It is absolutely huge. We don't know what the format will be, and especially with 12 teams, it's a weird format. But the fact of the matter is that either Lost Rataones or EMEA Masters participants is going to go for first stand. And by the way, this tournament will take place in 2026. I mean, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. And listen, let's be honest. I'm not sure the Lost Rataones can win. I am not sure they can win. I mean, you have to understand that this is a team full of, mostly content creators, players that have not been given much chance. And listen, they are here for content and all that stuff, and they're still winning, great, but it's more like a content-based driven team that is trying to be successful and just selling out tickets and eyeballs and sales and all kind of stuff, which I think there's nothing wrong with it. It's the way of esports right now with the esports winter kicking our butts. But, but, if you can maximize this growth and trying to make it to an international tournament with this, I'll tell you what, stunks. Absolute stunks is going to happen. Now, unfortunately, many people, of course, questioning all the format, of course, that said that the EMEA Masters are not going to inform of those changes, and it says that Common Core Blue, Vitality B, Giant X Pride, and Lost Heretics will claim one of those spots. And you all know that Riot a couple of years ago banned the whole sister team thing. It just says that you cannot have a team playing alongside with their sister team because, of course, information, all those weird stuff. So that's why they decided to not even include the sister teams and the academy teams as per se. I mean, there'll be a weird dynamic if that will happen. Now, the spring and summer splits of the LEC will return to the traditional 10-team format with the more standard format and considered the main LEC season, which is much proper because I don't think that listen, let's be honest. Let me honest. Summer and spring splits are the most important splits ever. The winter split is fine, but it's almost like that feeling of like, I don't know, it doesn't matter as much other than like qualifying for MSI, of course, which is like the most important thing. And let's be honest, last year's first stand was kind of like it does not look great, and there's nothing wrong with Honda Life Esports winning the whole thing, but it just doesn't, it doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't sit well with me, and hopefully they'll make some changes. Of course, they'll have to make some changes. So, like, gotta include more teams, I guess. Just gotta include more teams. Oh wait, you're not gonna include more teams? All right then, cool. But having like the summer and spring split being the main focus, of course, being those two more important things, and let's just have let's just have some international tournaments, some warm up tournaments. Not as meaningful, but to get these teams ready for like the real season, of course, when MSI is the bigger tournament and Worlds is the being all end all tournament. That is more important. So I think I'm okay with having the two splits and having like a third one being like the warm up tournaments for some of them. Importance, of course. Now, the other tier 1 leagues, such as the LTA and LCP, has already experimented with temporary guest slots for tier 2 teams, which they need to fight for at the end of the year in a promotional tournament. Speaking of the promotional tournament, by the time this finished recorded, or by the time that you're seeing recording, tomorrow will be the tournament. Yeah, from October 4th to October 12th will be taking place online and in an empty Mexican arena. I don't know. But the promotion tournaments have, one of them, the LTA South has already started, but the LTA North, yes, I've already called it the LTA North. Don't worry, Akeem. By the time all of this is over, it'll be the LCS again. Trust me, you'll know. They'll have a promotional tournament tomorrow. So by the time this finished recording, all the tournaments will be taking place. Now, with this new format, Riot Games is attempting something similar to the LEC by adding 2 extra teams in a unique tournament. The idea of having ERL teams compete directly with LEC teams for Worlds qualification was also discussed. And you think to yourself, okay, if you're going to invite EMEA Masters and Tier 2 teams into the first stand tournament to try to qualify and having to do this in a winter tournament or a kickoff tournament, hey, maybe Tier 2 teams could qualify for Worlds. And then Riot Games decided to put the middle finger up to them and say, no. In fact, it was most of the LEC people that said no, even the 10 teams. And it says it will devalue their guaranteed spots. All right, just remember, guys, you all sign up for this. Every single one of you sign up for this, which I will get to that later. In fact, I will get to that now because Yamato Cannon, dear old Yamato Cannon, greatly Swedish dominant host, and I would pull up the tweet, but hiding time will be like better. And you know what? I think it's time for me to do a Twitter. I got I've already done 9 minutes of this. I can go on Twitter right now. And before I get to that comment, I want you to like, to comment, to subscribe to this channel and to this video for all the League of Legends content I have done. I am finishing the 14 days and 14 worlds in 14 days kind of thing. And then after this, it will be all focused on worlds. And of course, I have a busy schedule, of course. I have a busy schedule coming up this week with the player rankings and the team rankings and all kind of stuff. And my narrative in terms of regions, yes, I keyword focuses on narrative regions, not just team regions alone, but the narrative, of course, just to trying to like save time and save my breath, of course, most of the time. And of course, we got maybe champions to discuss because let's be honest, champions are not my thing, of course. League of Legends is fine, but I haven't played that game in a while, of course. So if you like, please comment, subscribe, and all kind of stuff. And you know what? Yeah, that's all the jazz. So Yamato Cannon, sweet old Yamato Cannon, decided to drop a tweet, and it's set, and he just whew, yeah, he was going all at it. He was literally going all at it. So I'm gonna just trying to read these things one by one. Okay, I'm gonna try to read this like one by one, and also this is kind of like AI, of course. Okay, let me just try to read this thing one by one. This is from yesterday, of course, when the announcement is made. And Yamato Ken said, if Los Rataones win, it is cooked beyond measurement. Low chance, yes, but the principle of the setup. 2, the conditions will change to include Los Rataones in the future. In a world where they wouldn't perform next year, I'm sure they would bend the rules to include them. No way they are going to let 2 ERL teams that have been scavenged in the offseason participate leading to the next year. Apparently, there's conversation on Twitter about teams in the LEC not agreeing to this. If this is the case, I think it is nuts. I assume they did because they want Lars Rataones pulled for future. I just assume by the phrasing in the Sheep esports report since the teams push back against the world's inclusion. Now, the ERL ecosystem needs to concentrate the strong ores and change the LEC too, and hopefully we move towards a broad out get slot in the future so the integration is cleaner because this version, although cool I am happy that LRA is playing, it can pose a lot of problems. Now, don't blame Kate. Now, he said it in a tweet, which is, of course, this is the reason why David has this video. Don't blame Cage, I'll blame the LEC Riot for going over the head of the teams and spitting on their partnerships. My camera freeze again. This is what happens when I decided to go one another one. Let's continue. Now, people that are claiming that he lied, I think I just jumped to a logical conclusion. I did exactly the same thing because I did not think in any reason mind LEC would pull this stuff without the agreement of the teams. To which I said, guys, Riot is in charge of all of this. Not the teams, not the players, not the coaching staff. No. Riot is in charge of this. Riot is in charge. Big Daddy Riot is the one to pull all the strings. Not you guys. Not you guys. Now, it also said that people really need to stop having this dumb take that winter split doesn't matter. ERL teams should win them, and if they do, LEC teams suck, etc. None of this matters. Riot just went over the head of the teams without the agreement. That is a story. Now, this is the short. It said that this is a short-term reactionary decision that come on the cost of trust, relationship. There are way many better things to do than this. Franchising suck ass, but this is the table that Riot has set, and now they are breaking the hands of all the players that play by the rules. And of course, he made a little bit of video, of course, and it's because I could easily recognize why LEC teams could agree to this, and I thought that this was happening, and the disarmament would be great for the entertainment, but it comes with many flaws that I addressed in the first video that I posted earlier today. Focus is now Riot going over the heads of the LEC and breaking trust. It has nothing to do with the decision itself. It is about how it is made. Don't conflate the two. And he also made a comment about this. This comparison makes zero sense. Riot brought out teams in the LCS, and they are not enough organization that wanted to be involved. Take the cause upon them. I'm guessing he's going to Worlds repping the LTA Nord, remember? Riot could have brought out the Rogue slot and done the same. In my opinion, they should have offense. And then the one last attempt on Twitter to add nuances to fight the bad take, keep an NRL in the code ecosystem and integrating them into a good thing. Like I think David kind of agreed with me, and I agree. I think that what Los Rataones has done in the Tier 2 scene, it's amazing. The fact they actually winning LEC, winning Tier 2 matches, the fact they are touring all this kind of stuff, the fact they are, having incredible numbers, of course, especially for an NLC, which is kind of like dying, of course. The fact they're doing all of this, and they're going to do more, of course, later on with road shows and, of course, the um, Red Bull event. It's huge. It is absolutely huge. Now, second party saying and going against the wishes of the all as said by Gamento, partner teams are breaking the trust, effectively proving the partnership is unequal and that Riot will do whatever they want, then teams bought in and invested millions is a bad thing. And free franchising for competition and entertainment drive is a bad thing, which would never happen. But you set in the rules. Letting the teams play by those rules and break their hands when it suits you is going to leave a sour taste in the mouth. The whole problem with transitioning away from franchising is exactly that the teams that have spent millions that they promise a specific return on, it is not something that you can rip the cord off and move on. These deals have been signed with the very specific contingencies. For those who said it is only winter, yes, but what stops Riot from doing more in the future now that the president has been sent? That's a great question, Ramato. Great question. Maybe it's not a one-off thing. And to which I said, he has a point. He has a literal point. Because let's say Los Rataones went on to win the whole tournament. And let's say they go to first day. If that happens, and I said if that happens, boy oh boy, the LEC will be absolutely pissed off. And not just the LEC being pissed off. Common Corp is being pissed off. Yes, the dirty wall of France has finally showed up, rear its ugly head again, and they are pissed. Absolute pissed about this whole thing. To which I wanted to say this, and with all honesty, is that, guys, this could have been you. Now, let's be honest. This could have been you last year. You could have just, you have all the fandom. You have all the success that you have. You have probably your stadium, by the way, which, by the way, play home for Valorant, by the way. And, by the way, I just watched a little bit of Valorant, and Fnatic did not look good against NRG. Just a little spoiler right now. But you have all that momentum. You could have just stayed in the Tier 2 scene, gather all the momentum, and you could have been in the same situation as the Lost by the Rataones have last year. But no. Listen, you wanted to go to that LEC spot, and when you didn't do that, you know what happens when you didn't get the LEC spot? Commento turned off his camera and cried a little bit. Yeah, because that LEC spot is just worth so much more than weight in gold, of course. Well, unfortunately, those slots might be worthless right now because you know about LEC Winter and all kind of stuff. And you saw how Rogue decided to leave, of course, and move on to Navi. I will not be surprised if SK Gaming, after all these years of history, wanted to buy out. Nor Giant X. Maybe Lost Heretics might buy out, of course. But the point is that I can understand what Yamato Cannon is saying, is that if Lost Rataones join in, it will open up the Pandora's box. The literal Pandora's box of what Riot Games can do for the future, in which you can say that, hey, all the Tier 2 teams come in and just like play in this LEC tournament, and then you go into international events, and maybe, just maybe, we might put in that Tier 2 team into Worlds. Come down to the future. Maybe not now, but pretty much come down to the future. I mean, look at what Valorant is doing right now. Next year, if you are a Tier 2 team, you could qualify for champions in the future, in Shanghai next year. And that's a big deal. Like Valorant system put it in place so that if you are like a Tier 2 team in that scene, you could qualify for like a bigger event, of course, down the road. And I think that's a huge thing. That shows that, you know, hey, we wanted to make sure that the Tier 2 teams can be not only, you know, being treated well, but also being taken care of, and we make them compete. I think that's the one thing that they didn't realize. I think the LEC teams are so scared of like if one of the Lost Rataones beat like, I don't know, an SK Gaming or a Lost Heretics or something. Not saying they could beat a G2 or a Common Corp or Fnatic or all kind of stuff, but let's just say that they might beat one of those bottom teams. You'll be panicking out of your mind, for God's sakes. The LEC would be panicking out of their minds. To which I said, guys, you know, this has been coming for years, okay? This has been coming for years, especially consider that we kick the there was a tournament called the Challenger Series, the EU LCS Challenger Series. There was a tournament back then when you go that tier 2 teams get promoted into the LEC. You remember G2, right? The team that just won LEC Summer and were absolutely dominant. They were from a tier 2 scene, of course. And they qualified, of course, to the LEC Summer. And guess what? They made it to Worlds in their first year and won the damn title in their first year. So don't tell me that you're thinking, oh, Lost What to Do is going to come in and just ruin everything. Because guess what? It has already been ruined by franchising and the money being bleeded out, of course. So Riot decided, hey, guys, let's just add the tier 2 scene. Let's just make a little bit of tournament. And by the way, guys, this is only for winter, guys. This is only for winter. But I can understand the fear of many other teams, of course, just saying, what if it's just not winter? What if Lost Arts wanted to stay here and re-implement a start slot? And I can understand the pissiness of all the LEC fans. But I think you're not the only person to be like involved in all of this. Max Schmidt, the LEC commissioner, by the way, he decided to say that we want to integrate the EMEA Masters with the LEC and create a more interconnected in the system. Now the tournament is already commuted, and Maximin Schmidt, the director of League of Legends in EMEA, sat down with Sheep Esports to talk about the league's format and all kind of stuff with the Ross Anatolis joining the LEC. Let me just see. He's talking about the LEC format and all kind of stuff. Of course, they're already taking it, and maybe the Spirit and LCK, and reduce costs about having the games online and and I think that's great, to just trying to like reduce the match day costs, having the games online and all kinds of stuff, save all the money, of course. And then the current calendar, all kind of stuff, and then this current state of ERLs. So 2028, and then EMEA Masters, of course, with game changes. I want to find the questions. Okay, these are the two questions, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much important in this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, those are two questions. Now, does the success of Lost Rataones winning 2 out of 3 AMA Masters so far force Riot to reconsider guest slot spots with the way ERL teams cycled with the LEC? Max Schmidt answered, quote, it's a fair question. Just as I've been interacted with Common Corp, I'm also engaging with Lost Rataones to understand their goals and what they want from the ecosystem and how we can support that. Guest spots are one potential way we approach this, and we're considering different avenues to find a mutually beneficial solution without destabilizing the ecosystem we've created. We'll share more on that, and I'm very confident we have a great solution for this problem. We're very actively looking into ways to better integrate the ERL and EMEA Masters ecosystem with the LEC, creating a more interconnected ecosystem for the entire region. I'm very excited for the future of the entire ecosystem. And question number 2 is, would you personally like to see Lost Angeles in the LEC? I said the same about Common Corp in the past. They could absolutely be a great partner for the LEC and a valuable addition. That said, there's a partnership system, which comes with significant requirements. I would fully understand that if that is not the path Lost Donors want to pursue. This is something we will continue to discuss, ensuring everyone gets the best out of the ecosystem and knows exactly what they're signing up for. And listen, K-Joel is not dumb, all right? K-Joel has been playing this game so long. He's been casting. He's been a great analyst for the LEC. He is not dumb. He is literally not a dumb person. He knows that if he cannot get to the LEC, fine. No regret, no bitterness, no nothing. It's just like, hey, I have this incredible tier 2 team. I have this incredible team that has all the eyeballs, all the attention, all the merch. Yes, the merch. And all the success. So why do I have to risk myself forking over millions of dollars to Riot Games to be in a partnership deal when my team gonna get stink up for the next couple of years? And we may not even do much, and we might be like the Dignitas of like the LEC or the DRX, except for that 1 year of the LEC as well. Why do I have to risk myself for this when I could just sit back, have a tier 2 team that actually makes money and be profitable and competitive in most cases with some of the best EMEA teams, and just go from there? And I think he's doing a great job. I think he's playing the long game. And I think Max Schmidt is probably saying right now that maybe we might implement them in the future. But with this tournament going on, it's a little bit of a test, all right? It's a little bit of a test to see how, one, can Lost Rataones compete, but also a test of how this thing would work if we get to 12 teams. If we get to, the 12-team system that we all, maybe some of the people might see. But let's be honest. I think a lot of LEC people are not in their right, not saying right in their right mind, I'm not saying that, but many of the LEC people are just like, they are afraid of the of this of Los Rataones coming in, and not just Los Rataones, an EMEA team, by the way. Like, we've been all focusing on Los Rataones so much. What about the EMEA Masters champion or the EMEA Masters runner-up? Are you worried about that as well? Are you worried that that team might qualify for international tournament? If that happens, what will you say about that? And if that happens, and if that will continue, it will open the pen. Listen, I already said that ad nauseum, but it opens the pen. It already, listen, Los Rataones being in the tournament has already opened up the Pandora's box. The problem is, how much further opening will it take before it will turn into mass hysteria? Because right now, the mass hysteria is already going on in the LEC. And to which I said, like, listen, you have to appreciate that a team like Los Rataones is capitalizing on this opportunity right now. Many tier 2 teams have not even done that. Not even the LCS can even do that. Like Common Core Blue is not as popular as the main Common Core team. And none of the teams from the EMEA Masters, as I already saw, are not as popular as the Los Rataones. It's them that made this whole thing popular. It's them that's the reason why we have like highlights of their matches on my YouTube page, mind you. It's them that making the scene better. Well, not better, more like, integral, of course. So you have to appreciate what they have done to this scene instead of just, hexing them and saying, we don't want that team in this scene. This is poisonous. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, you're drinking, you're about to enter a rat poison, man. You're drinking rat poison. You're drinking rat poison right now. You are literally drinking rat poison right now. And you don't know it yet. You don't know yet. But if Los Rataones were to beat an LEC team, oh man, Twitter's not gonna be a nice place. Twitter is not gonna be a nice place tomorrow. Oh, it's not gonna be a nice place. It's not gonna be a nice place. But that is for now. So I think this is way over proportion. This is like an overreaction to me. This is a way bigger, blown out of proportion thing that I've already seen. Now, let's go to some other news, which like you already see it now. Cloud9 has already replaced Reaper with Inero as coach of Cloud9. To which I said to this, Reaper has failed as a Cloud9 coach. To which the expectations of like, hey, this team always make it to Worlds, of course, to which they have not done it this year. And it's a failure on the Cloud9 part because this is a team with a brand name, with the high expectations, which supposed to be like, they should be making the Worlds, of course. But the fact they didn't make it, and now they have to make a big coaching change, bringing in Nero, of course, to bring in to, spice up the team. By the way, this is the Nero guy who got in Golden Guardians 2 Worlds, by the way. Well, more than the Worlds playing stage when they got obviously clapped by BDS, but none of them matter. It's all the same, of course. And they, of course, made it to MSI that year with Licorice as a top lane. Yeah, that's who Inera is. And I think he might do something about this team. Maybe pick up a few hundred these members, of course, to get it started. Who knows? Who knows? The next news, of course, is Gilius. Big old Gilius is now officially retiring. And to which I said, by the way, he used to play for Anubis all the way into the tier 2 scene, of course. And for anybody who don't know Gilius, big personality, big guy. The one big moment that I have with Gilius, and the one thing I'll say about Gilius, is that the Schalke Milker run way back when, I think it was 2020 that had happened. I think it was 2020 that was happening. It was COVID year, of course. My brain is kind of like old as I go older. But Gilius and that Schalke team making that miracle run was the most memorable thing I ever happened to him. And he was in SK a couple of bit, but it didn't work out. And of course, he's now in the tier 2 team. And he decided, hey, listen, this whole thing, it's not working out. I've been playing League of Legends for years. Maybe it's time for me to get a coaching job, coach the team, develop, all this kind of stuff. And to be sure, I said that I hope Gilius will get like a much bigger job down the road in probably an LEC team or maybe an LCS team. Who knows? But I wish Gilius all the best in his retirement and all kind of stuff. We already cover apples already. We don't need to go down that road. Of course, we've already discussed it. Kendu from the SK Gaming is now a free agent. He is leaving SK Gaming, and there is some more free agency to come up. Of course, when Sheep Esports is going to do his thing as usual. So I don't know much about Kendu, of course, but let's be honest. I think SK is okay. Actually, no. I think SK was dog crap, of course. And I'm not sure he was the reason, of course, but I think Kendu has not covered himself in glory. And I believe there is some, well, I think there is some more news going on. I think there is maybe some more news, maybe some leaks. Yeah, so that is, I think so. The SK, of course, the honorous move is leading us to this: is that SK Gaming are exploring across all five positions. So it's not just it's not Kendu alone. It's the entire team needs a rechange. Like Jesus Christ, damn! Like all five starters are expiring this year, and given all the organization to test the off season and all the marketing, of course, Older the coach, Older the coach is still in charge. Skeens is gonna resign him, of course, to the surprise of absolutely no one, and he's gonna stay. Now, now it's been a difficult year. They did not do well. Abadage in the mid lane did. It was not great. It was not great, honestly. And Summer Split was not. Summer Split was not kind for them, and lots of changes need to be made. Lots of changes need to be made, and the entire lineup being left. Let's just say that I think Alba Dog is going to go. I don't think he's worth it. Kendu is already leaving for free agency. Skeens are going to stay. We don't know about top and support. But I'll tell you what, it is going to be a long offseason for SK Gaming. And if we look now, let me just look at the offseason tracker, of course, because even though we have Worlds going on, there is some pretty big stuff that's happening, in the offseason. And as we all know, Impact is leaving, of course, Cloud9. Oh, Cloud Team Liquid, of course. We already have Swiffer is leaving Team Liquid, of course, after 1 year in the LTA North, of course. And Treats is retiring, of course. Another player who is not saying well decorated, but well established, of course, as a player. 10 years. 10 years playing for SK Gaming, STSM, and Dintas. I think he was a streamer, by the way. I think he was a streamer back away. He was a streamer. I think I know him, of course. And of course, he was a coach, of course. He competed with Nord Esports in this year for the winter or summer splits. Stint with Movistar, Koi, and Phoenix, but decided, yep, I'm done. I'm done. And then he decided to do, and so he, like Gilius, is decided to do coaching, and I wish him all the best, of course. So a lot of off-season that's going on. A lot of things that will go on in the off-season. And if you want, you can go on sheepesports.com or maybe go to Legopedia. I mean, Legopedia have pretty much more reliable sources than your average man. And if you look at the transfer hub, you can see there is some rumors, of course, in the offering. And if you can, let's see. So not much changes, of course. Not much changes, but by the time you have to see, but oh, oh, okay. I think this is this year. I think it's this year. So we have not much to change about this year. But about these things happening during Worlds time. Like everybody's so focused on the biggest tournament ever, and fortunately, there is some crazy thing happening at Worlds. There's some crazy thing happening at Worlds. In terms of announcements, like we already did with the LTA, and the transfer windows and all kinds of stuff. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun off season for Sheep Esports and hopefully for some of the channel content creators and for me personally. So yeah, it's already been started. We've already have a lot of things going on, but hopefully for the next 2 days. And as you can see, I didn't see it. Like Trees is retiring, of course. Yeah, there is. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, of course, and I think that should include all of this. And I am going to leave you with a little bit of gift, ladies and gentlemen. I think you've already heard this millions of times. I think you've already heard this like 1,000 times already, and I've already heard this like yesterday. But here is once again for your listening pleasure, the world's orchestral theme song. And I want to thank each and every one of you, of course, for watching this video and liking the comment, also subscribing to the channels. We are 12 days out from Worlds. And there is a lot of content that's going on this week. Lots of stuff. So thank you all for watching and listening. And I'll see you guys next time. Kick it off, Riot. Ciao, everyone.